Hi, 10th graders at RHS. It is Personal Project launch time. Miss Blusa here. I am your MYP coordinator, so all things 9th and 10th grade. I'm going to be helping you with this big project along the way that we do at 10th grade. So we're going to watch together, and these are slides are going to be available to you to review if you need to, but let's talk about it. So today, what we're going to do is you're going to be able to talk about what the personal project is when you're all done, and I hope that you'll be very excited to start it and complete it and do something that you're feeling super passionate about. So what I would like you to do is listen, write down any questions you have. So if you want to get like a piece of scrap paper or a sticky note, write down any questions that you have. And then we'll do a Kahoot review at the end, and you're going to win prizes based on how well you do in the Kahoot. So you know you want to win. Okay, so I want you to think. Obviously, think, pair, share. You can share with your cat that's in the room, or your poster, or maybe you've got a couple of siblings or parents that are annoying you that are standing around, and you can share with them. But I want you to think about the prompt on the screen. So name 2 to 3 items or people that you get really excited about. So things where your whole body just sort of lights up when you're thinking about that person or that thing. Just think, what are a couple of things that come up? So I love to cook. So I know that comes up for me, is like finding new recipes and trying new things. I also love to travel, and there's so many places I want to go. So I could write down travel or a few other things. My daughter gets me really excited, and we love doing karaoke together. So that's something that we like to do. So just things like that. If you're in your advisory, you can take a second and maybe put it in the chat for your advisory. So what are some things that get you really excited? Let's make sure it's school appropriate, of course, chat appropriate, because we have great netiquette, teddies. But go ahead. So even one thing, just one thing in the chat. What's one thing that you get super excited about, or that you've always wanted to know more about? All right, we're in the chat. You're doing it. You're writing it in the chat, hopefully. Your advisory teacher, homeroom teacher can have a couple people share out, or maybe they're just reading it as you're typing in the chat. That's awesome. So let's talk about what the personal project is. You might have heard of it before. You might have heard rumors. Never believe rumors. Always believe it from the source, okay? But basically what the personal project is, it's anything that you want to do that's around something you like, you love, you want to know more about, maybe something you started doing during COVID or after George Floyd's murder. But it's anything or something that you're working on right now, right? It's super big. It's fun. So the idea is that it's a lengthy project. It's not done in a week. It's not done in 2 weeks. Part of this is keeping track of your process and really coming up with like checklists and how you're going to reach it. And then at the end, did you reach it or not? And so it's really going to span over these next couple of months through Q1 and through Q2 is really the length of the project. So you're like, what, Belusa? Are we the only ones doing this? No, you're not the only ones doing this, okay? This is done by every 10th grader in an IB school around the world. And I'm going to show you examples from schools that are literally around the world. And in the Google Classroom, there's more examples under the reflective report. And like we'll have some pictures in the Kahoot that show you people from around the world. So every 10th grader does this. So how you do it, mostly you're going to be doing it at home, but we will work on it a little bit in homeroom and advisory, and you might have some time in core classes. That's still to be determined. But you are working out fall and winter of this year, 10th grade. So the idea, I'll show you a timeline, but you're kind of going to be wrapping things up in January. And again, it's passion project. It's not supposed to be about anything related to school, really, unless something at school makes you want to branch off from there. So let's take a look at an example. This is a student from Indonesia. We're just going to watch a few minutes, and then you'll have access to the links in this PowerPoint, and you can go and look at more. Or if you have extra time in advisory, sorry about that, you can ask your advisory teacher if they'll play this, and have a whole bunch of other videos linked on here as examples. But let's listen together for a little bit.
Everybody says they're aware of global warming. But do you know what's really happening? The Earth's temperature has risen up to 0.8 degrees Celsius. Indonesia has the fastest rate of deforestation since the past 12 years. Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia, has a total of 38.7 million units of vehicles, 26.1 million motorcycles, 1.3 million unit bus, 5.3 million cars, and 6.1 million unit of other vehicles. Indonesia produces 4,000 tons of plastic bags each day, equal to the weight of 20 blue whales, causing 1 million seabirds and 100,000 sea animals to die each year. It all has to stop, or else by 2030, Indonesia will already lose 2,000 islands due to the rising sea level. Kidney stones will be more likely due to the dehydration and decline in drinking water caused by the heat.
Okay, so you get the idea. You can watch the rest of it. It's really good. It's really sad, but she's from Indonesia, right? And she decided that she wanted to learn how to make a video. So she creates a video, and then she's also researching, obviously, about global warming. So clearly, her project was to inform people, and it sounds to me like, since she's talking about Indonesia, that she's trying to really, her audience would be other Indonesians. If we were in real life, we'd be talking this through, by the way, in groups. So feel free to shout out at the screen at any time. Right, that's what this person decided. That's their 10th grade project. They worked on that for probably 4 to 6 months. So let's talk about the parts of the project, because a lot of people get confused, and you're probably going to forget this. So I want you to look in your student guidebook that is in the Google Classroom, and I'm going to show you what it looks like in a second at the end. But really, there's a lot of parts of it, and the guidebook reminds you of those parts. In order to get an elective credit, you have to do each of these parts of the project. And again, I'm meant to be here to help you. Your advisory teacher is going to help you, and this isn't until the whole thing isn't done until March. So basically, where you start is you're going to start with researching your idea and making a bibliography. So I always say make a works cited page or a bibliography right away. It's where you're keeping track of your sources, whether you talk to someone for this project or you just find a bunch of pictures online, right? We want to give credit to where we get things. So that's the first step. And then you're going to create an action plan and criterion. So this is kind of where you're making checklists or to-do lists, or again, in your guidebook, there's some helpful project planning sheets. And on Google Classroom, we're going to keep putting resources up and have advisory lessons for you where we talk about how do you make that stuff. So you're really like creating a plan for yourself. What do I want to make, create, or learn? How will I know if I did it, right? What are my check points along the way? Then the next thing you're going to do is you're making your product or learning your skill. So whatever it is you've chosen for your project, you're going to do it. And you document all of it in a process journal, which again, there's resources on the Google Classroom, or you can use your student guidebook. Every time you see a little pencil icon, that is a place where you can record a journal entry. So the idea is that people who do projects, right, which you'll do throughout the rest of your life, wherever your career or your college aspirations take you, there's almost never, or house projects, right? There's almost always a project somewhere. And this really helps you fine tune and figure out how to do a really good job on that. So we document that, right? So along the way, like if somebody's remodeling the house, they tend to take pictures before, during, and after, right? So you have really impressive way to see what changed, what happened, right? Makeover pictures the same way. So you're just documenting it in a process journal. There's questions in the guidebook. You can kind of make your own journal. You can vlog it. Some people keep personal handwritten journals, or they just take pictures. So there's a lot of options. Again, we'll talk more about that a little bit later, and you can look at some of the stuff in the Google Classroom. So then what you do is you have to reflect on the whole process, which is the part that really gets scored. So this gets sent out. It gets scored here in-house, and then it goes also out to the IB. No names on it, right? It's anonymous, but then we celebrate you in the community, but we actually read this reflection that you do. And so what you do is you're going to reflect on like the whole thing that you just did, and it's either written or it's a video, or you can do a mixture of both. And again, there's more examples in the Google Classroom. I feel like I'm a salesperson. And last, you showcase your work. And this year, we're going to do a virtual exhibition. So in years past, you might have heard about this. We did it during advisory, where 9th graders would come, and it's a science fair type booth, and you talk about your project, and you have a little sign, and maybe if you made it, you bring it in. If it's food, you bring food. It's a really fun way to be able to talk about your project. This year, we're going to do it virtually. So you're going to create when you're done with all this, you'll make a little slideshow and a presentation, and then we'll create some kind of virtual. We haven't decided yet how that'll be, if it'll be live so people can pop in and say hi, or if we're going to have you video record it. But that is the last part of the project for you to get the credit. And it's actually really fun. We have tons of fun. In real life, I give you cookies. In fake life, I don't know what we'll do. We'll figure something fun out though. Okay, so frequently asked questions. Can you work with a friend or 2 or 4? Heck, yes, you can. You can totally do this project in groups. Lots of people have done that. Last year, we had a ton of students who organized our student assemblies, and they did that mostly in groups. In the years past, we had some students who did a Somali cultural video, and there was like 12 of them. Just be careful with how many, but yes. You do, however, need to do the process journal and the reflective report on your own. So you each have to do those separately, but you can certainly share some of your journal entries if they're photos, and you can totally do this together. Last year we had 2 students who made a Hmong Mexican traditional dress. So they combine the 2 cultures to make a dress. That was super cool. And then lots of people like to do it on their own. So it's totally up to you. So the first thing we're starting about, right, is this investigating, where we have ideas. You have ideas and you're doing research. And I know that might sound weird. And I've got some stuff on Google Classroom that's like, well, I want to do a recipe book with my grandma's recipes. Okay, so your sources are going to be your grandma, right? And then maybe anybody else you talk to in the family. And I'm guessing you're going to want some photos. So if you don't take those photos, those are sources. Or since you're doing a cookbook, you're going to want to research, right? You'll want to read through a couple of cookbooks, look at some cookbooks so that you have an idea of how you decide you want to design. Those are all sources, okay? If that makes sense. So you're really just thinking about, where can I go to find research to learn more about this thing, whether it's, your family recipe book, or I'm learning how to build a car from scratch, right? People are also great resources. If you have a teacher that's helping you working with, or a family member or someone in the community, those are awesome resources too. So that's where we're going to start. Okay, and here's some examples of projects that have happened before. If you see, this is Mr. Rugnetta up here. He did a poetry book 2 years ago, and then last year he was organizing a soccer tournament. So real life, we really do it. Origami, knitted pride flag. So these are all examples. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Just, it should be a passion project, it's called. Universities are really keen on seeing this on your resume these days. And it looks great for a career because you learn how to do project management. Other things we've done, someone cleaned and redecorated teachers' bathrooms. We've got lots of people who want to get better at a soccer or basketball move. So that one's a really good one for videoing yourself throughout the process, each week taking a video journal, because you're seeing how can I make this move or these 2 moves better. Maybe you're learning during COVID how to time manage and organize, or you're learning how to deal with anxiety. Those are all personal project topics you could do, right? You could create an anxiety handbook. You could create art through that. So lots of different ideas. Lots of people like to teach themselves some kind of art thing, or to try to have an art show, make traditional dress. So really there's so many options for you. So is it required? It is expected that every 10th grade student completes it. So we do expect that, as we are an IB World School. And again, it's really fun for you. This is something that you want to do and you want to explore, and we're actually going to reward you for doing that. Is it graded? So we have advisory and homeroom lessons. We're going to be doing that part, right? You get a grade for that. You can also earn credit, maybe some extra credit in some of your core classes. And you do earn an elective credit towards graduation. So it's 1 semester of an elective credit, or 1 quarter, sorry. And of course, like I mentioned, it looks so good on your college or career resume under awards or project management. I have had students come back and they've gotten scholarships or have been interviewed for scholarships based on the work that they did for their project. Again, just some more examples from here at Roosevelt. Learning to cook and recipe books are very popular, but again, sky is the limit. If you're organizing already, you're doing community organizing, you're handling protests, or you want to do a protest, or you want to do protest art, those are great things. Again, what do you get? You're going to feel really good about yourself, and it shouldn't be school related. So it's something you want to do or learn, or that you're already doing, but you want to get better at. You can get an elective credit. We get awards. We do awards at the end of this year, and then you get a fancy IB one, and you get to put it on your college and career resume. I'm going to be helping out during travel time on Tuesdays. You'll go to the Google Classroom. We'll have a Google Meet link there, just like you do with all your other classes. And I'll be there during advisory time on Tuesdays so that I can help you if you want to talk one-on-one. And of course, you can email me and I'll help out. And you can also ask your advisory teacher because they're a really good resource for you. So you're gonna, on the Google Classroom, we already have a student guide that we've put together that's literally step-by-step. It's everything you need for the project. It's helpful, like sheets, journal entries. You can tape stuff in there so you have everything together for your project because you'll turn this in at the end so that we can see your process. And again, it has like everything you need. So there's a PDF and a Word document so you can make a copy, make it your own. If you would like a hard copy, email me and I can get you one, or you can, of course, copy it yourself. So basically your guidebook, again, has everything that you need to be able to earn that credit and a lot of really helpful tips. Here's some more students that are reflecting. So these students here are reflecting about the process, what they learned about themselves. And I'm going to ask your advisory teacher to show it if you have time, or we'll come back for it. And again, parts of the project, okay, right? So we're researching, we're investigating. We start here. So I want you to think right now, is there something coming to your mind that's your idea, that's something you've always wanted to do that you would want to make about a project? Maybe put it in the chat if you think of it. So again, what's your idea? What are you thinking? What comes to mind? Okay, so after you research and you're checking it out, you're trying to figure it out, you're going to create, make, or learn about something, and then you want to reflect on it, right, with the process journal, and then we're going to write the report, or you're going to do an audio report, and then you're going to share it with others. So let's talk for a second about the timeline. It's up here. You're going to get there, again, in Google Classroom, there's a more detailed timeline that's available to you, but this is what's showing. This is one. So we're going to start, we're researching your topic, right, like we talked about, creating your bibliography, planning and creating, learning your product, and keeping track of your process journal. Right, so all these phases 1, 2, 3, you're doing September to December. You've got break time, all that good stuff. Sorry, the dates, I'll update this, sorry. And then in January and February, you're really reflecting on everything. So you're thinking about all the work that you need to complete. This is where you're doing your report. And again, it can be visual, it can be a video, or it can be written. And then the whole project's due March 1st. It's a Monday. You turn it in because then we score it and we send it out to IB, and then we do awards and exhibition. We'll do sometime between March and April. Let's see. Hello. So questions. Again, let's go through this, and then I want you to start putting your questions that you have about the personal project into the chat, and your advisory teacher will either answer the questions or they'll send them to me, or you can email me directly as well. So why is the project so rad? What is it? Again, it's something you're doing, anything you want or interested in, anything that it's a passion project, something you're feeling like you want to explore. And if you're not a highly passionate person like I am, that's okay. Pick something you like. Is there a TV show that you like? Is there a sport that you're interested in? So again, like the options are really open here, something you want to dive into. And again, anything. It just shouldn't really be school related. All right. I love, or I want to learn graffiti art. Awesome. Go do it. You want to go do it, or you just want to catalog it? You want to talk to the artists and interview them? Awesome. Do that. You want to learn your family history? Do it. You want to try every Ethiopian restaurant in Minneapolis? Someone has actually tried this. Do it. You want to start your own business and write or make music? Awesome. Do it. People have started their own businesses for personal projects, like babysitting, or maybe right now it's cleaning masks. I'm not sure. Whatever you want to do. All right, so in the chat, advisory chat, I want you to write down questions that are coming up for you. And I would also like you to put down what are you thinking you're going to do for your personal project. So here's the top. What comes to your mind right now that you might want to do for your project, or something you would really want to consider more? So right now, I want you to post that in the chat, and your advisory teachers are going to read through them. We're going to say them out loud, and they're going to send me questions if they can't answer it. I will also have a Google Classroom discussion board there where you can put what you're thinking about. So there'll be one for questions and one for your topics. And this plus the Kahoot, there's going to be prize drawings all the time. So check Google Classroom, Listen Advisory, because we're going to be doing prizes and sending them out as you're working and taking pictures of your work. So you don't need to worry about the exit ticket. You're going to do the review Kahoot right now. So here we go. You should all be in the Google Classroom, or else here's the code to join it. If you haven't yet, it literally has everything that you need, including when parts of the project are due, and it has tons of resources and videos and help. And again, that's where the Google Meet will be on Tuesdays if you want to get help during advisory. And here's my email up here. I'm the only Marika Belusa in the district, so as long as you spell my name sort of right, you should find me. So feel free to email me, let me know what's going on with you. Awesome. I'm super excited for this year's project. I'm so excited to hear about your ideas. Just watching you in 9th grade and hearing what you're interested in and knowing what some of your teachers are talking about now in class with you, I think this is going to be awesome project year. So your advisory teacher has this slide deck, and they're going to go and hit the Kahoot. So you can do this in real live time. It has some pictures. It has all of the questions we've talked about, just reviewing one more time. And the prize, the top 3 could earn prizes. So your names will go in for a prize. Your advisory teacher will let me know who the top 3 people are in your advisory. And again, prizes, prizes, prizes. My daughter and I tried it. We had a lot of fun playing it. So I hope that you do too. Thanks for your attention. Thanks for your time. Good luck with the project. Yay! Personal Project 2020.